All right, the road to release continues. We're talking Perfect Team ahead of launch day, which is March 13th. But of course, if you order Out of the Park right now on pre-order, you can get your copy of Out of the Park 3 days early. That is pre-release access on March 10th. We're talking Perfect Team right now with Nicolino Di Benedetto. He's the Director of Product Management. So much to jam-pack. We figured we needed a two-parter. We needed to, like Quentin Tarantino, this into Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2. So we got Perfect Team Volume 1 and Volume 2. Let's dive in and talk standings because when you're playing Perfect Team, you're playing for something, and we have a bunch of leaderboards. Can you kind of break it down for us, all lead into PTCS?
Okay. This is change. This is going to be a dramatic change from what we did last year, but definitely from what we did previous years. What happened last year? We tried to do something different. We wanted to mix it up a little bit. Tried to reduce the amount of PTCSs. Try to make things a little more exclusive, a little more challenging. But what I was also trying to do was break people from some comfort zones. Right? I've talked about this before. Where we combined tiers and tried to put iron and bronze together, silver, gold, and all that stuff. And it went well. It just didn't go the way I was kind of hoping. And people still wanted their own categories. And it made for making PTCS formats a little more challenging. So I relied heavily on caps for those to try to get more of the lower tier of those two combined tiers involved. So this year, I'm giving everyone what they want. And we're going back to the system where there's a PTCS for each tier. So there will be an iron leaderboard, iron standings, bronze standings, silver, all the way. However, live and cap, we had them as secondary leaderboards last year. They will have their own leaderboards and they will lead to a PTCS. Now, there will still be crossover when it comes to live and cap because they will be like sort of a bronze live tournament, for example. Well, that tournament will hit 2 standings. Just like it did last year, but instead of live being a secondary, it will have its PTCS. So every month we will have a live PTCS that I will come up with some type of creative format. Maybe it's slots even to kind of make it interesting. Cap will have its own thing. So those folks who love cap tournaments, again, that could also be a slot, since slots fall under caps. That will give those high-level competitors, those intense competitors who love doing the math on their spreadsheets to figure out their rosters, they will have a place to play when it comes to PTCS. And obviously, we go back. We still continue with the perfect draft where daily is a category, weekly is a category. Now, noticeably absent is the weekly tournament standings. Those are out. Weekly tournaments will fold into the tiers. So if there is a live cap tournament, that will fall into 3 categories. That will fall into open, live, and cap. If there's a gold cap tournament, that will fall into gold and cap if that's a weekly. So we're going to just have them fall into their tiered category instead of just having weekly on its own. We are going to start this year with more weekly tournaments than we did last year. So expect the full complement of 21 off rip for both perfect draft and tournaments. So there's going to be the road to the PTCS and the PTWC is going to go through each tier. So you can be an iron tournament player and go in there and rule in the iron universe, or you can be a bronze tournament player. We can go back to those type of things. But just understand that you could, you play these live and caps, you're going to have a chance to go there and get some more stuff and get some more prizes, get some more standings. So it's going to be a highly competitive and fun environment, I think.
And we're looking at those standings. Looks like everything is the same kind of point spread as it was in Out of the Park in PT26.
Yes. Yeah. So the points are going to be the same type of way. The clubhouse stars for the weekly standings will be the same way. The one major change to the weekly standings that we will see is they will be automatically generated. So for years, the weekly standings were manual. So we would wait till everything finished, and then Chris would hit the button, do whatever he does, whatever magic he does, and he would populate the standings. That will be an auto-generated thing. We're hoping to have it auto-generated multiple times during the week so people understand where they are in the standings. But by Monday, around 9 a.m. is what we're thinking. I think on the slides here I have 8 a.m. It's probably more towards 9 a.m. Eastern time. The standings should populate on their own, and this way people can see where it is. It will distribute the prizes and everything there. And we have something else we'll talk about later, Dr. D, that will be distributed as well. So we're just trying to create a way where people can understand where they stand and what they need to go for in order to try to like move themselves up the standings.
All right, so we're talking with Nico. We're talking about all the different tournament formats and what you're playing for. We've kind of mentioned previously about PTCS, but now there's even something, of course, bigger than PTCS. We've seen this in previous years, obviously, but Perfect Team Master Series.
Yes. So the Master Series, and one of the things I am thinking about, I put it in here as I'm considering multiple events similar to the PTWC, but only on one day. I don't want to make it another 2-day event. PTWC is a huge event over the course of a weekend, but I'm toying with the idea of having multiple things. Same concept. Obviously, the PTCS points go into the PTMS standings, and it creates another competitive environment, another big tournament to play for, some big prizes there, some big cards. We will have a total of 4 PTMSs. I'm also working on some additional prizes and stuff like that to sort of have involved there. So stay tuned for that if we have some news there. Sort of working on that with the trophy company that we work with on the Perfect League trophies. So it's just trying to create more of this competitive aspect to the game that is just leaning on that, because people seem to really enjoy having these leaderboards, understanding, having that competitive aspect of being the best. And we really want to reward those folks who are playing the game, who are very good at this, and also open the door for players who are casual, who are new. They can get in and test themselves against some of the best players in our game.
Well, speaking of the best, PTWC, the World Championship. Let's dive in.
Now, PTWC has changed. It went from a head-to-head sort of tournament to now like 128 teams over the course of 2 days, multiple events that lead into the final standings, and adding some more drama. Basically trying to find who is the world champion, who is someone who can play a cap tournament, a bronze tournament, an open tournament, a perfect draft, and excel or do well enough to get to the top of the standings. And it creates such a fun, dramatic environment. This we saw at the end of PT26, that PTWC2, we do 2 of these a year. It's going to be the same setup that we had in 26, but we saw the second one, PTWC2 in 26, was so dramatic, getting down to the end, and even just the final 4, because the final 4 winners walked away with custom cards that are going to carry into PT27. That drama, people were hanging on it, watching Dishnet on the stream to see who was going to come into that, who's going to make the podium, who's going to get into those slots. So it is such a fun event, and I'm planning on having some fun formats that'll really test the skills of the players who get in there. You'll notice that so much of the PTWC qualifying standings, PT Live will be a factor again. Okay, so get your rosters in there every day. Use your live cards to create PT Live to get perfect points off of your live cards. The weekly leaderboard points, the PTCS points, PTMS points, all of them will filter into the qualifying for the final PTWC boards. Now, the leaderboards, the only thing that will not happen is it will not include the cap and live points, because then you would have double dipping and even triple dipping, right? So it will not include the PTWC qualifying standings, will not include points from those standings, because you will already have had it from the tier leaderboard. So no double dipping there, and or triple dipping. So watch out, Dr. D. I don't want to find you cheating there.
Yeah, Dr. D, not double dip. That's not what it
Report you
stands
to the
for.
moderation team. Yeah, no, but this will create a fun, like I said, again, another fun environment, and I'm hoping that we have some of these leaderboards available earlier so people can understand where they are and where they are in the standings and what they need to do to get in. But I'll tell you this, I would not ignore PT Live, because some people can make a difference of where they stand in that leaderboard by playing PT Live. It helps, even though those points are divided by 50 to scale for everything else, but it can matter where you are in the between 1 and 128.
Yeah, just that little drop in the bucket every day. And by the way, it's a fun bucket to fill up every day because PT Live, one of those amazing features that makes you feel a part of the Major League season from opening day to the end of the regular season. And we're going to share the schedule on your screen right now, too. Here's your schedule for PTCS, PTMS, and PTWC. So if you're making vacation plans, if you're planning, summer break, fall plans, mark it around this calendar on your screen, folks, because you don't want to miss out on PTCS, PTMS, PTWC, the best of the best. Boy, we really dove into a lot over these two interviews, Nico. Let's bring it home with which is something fun. Just something kind of like it's not something you're going to find in a spreadsheet, a stat breakdown. This is kind of a callback for people. I don't care how old you are. You always had this probably when you were a kid. Can you explain what this is, Nico?
So one of the things we've talked about internally is something that allows players to brag, to sort of say, like, I've accomplished this or I've accomplished that. We see it when you look at your league, your team profile in league, right? You see all your little championship banners, right? Your the little circles we have for winning a certain level, winning World Series a certain level. We'll still have those, but we wanted to expand that out, including PTCSs, PTWCs, PTMSs. So we'll have things for those. But what we're calling them is stickers. Just like when you were a kid and you collected your baseball cards, but you also had your sticker book. You will have achievement stickers, and there'll be some for passive activity in the game. Perhaps logging in a certain amount of days, you will get a sticker for that. Opening a certain amount of packs, you will get that. Opening 500 packs, as you can see, Dr. D, and you'll get a sticker for that. And there'll be different things for different achievements, completing missions, finishing first in the weekly standings, just different things where you're competitive in the competitive environment, but also in sort of like as you play, you will get these. Currently, I believe we're going to start with about 52 of these. We'll sort of probably add to that as we're going, so as we come up with more ideas of how to utilize them. But you'll even have a sticker of sort of stickers for each time you've bought OOTP. So, for example, that'll go back to when PT started. So there'll be a PT19 sticker all the way up to PT27. So you will have those. If you played them all, you will get them all. So it's going to be an evolving part of the game as we go, but we're really excited for this because it just gives people a chance to sort of collect a little something and just show like, hey, I've been doing this for this long, and I've been a big part of this community. And then we're talking about possibly some of the stuff will have some carryover effect. So you can brag in your PTWC title. You can brag for it for however long you're playing Perfect Team. So we're hoping that there's some longevity to this, as well as not just staying within PT27. So this is a fun aspect to add a little more just enjoyment, a little more bragging rights, adding to that competitive aspect of things, and sort of showing off what you've accomplished.
All right, Nico, thanks for giving us the sneak preview. It is Perfect Team. It is, dare I say, pretty darn perfect, and it's coming to your wherever you play it on your desktop. Whether you're back east, New Jersey, out west here where we are, or around the world, we all love playing this great game, and you can play it starting March 10th if you pre-order now. And of course, you get it 3 days ahead of time on official launch day on March 13th. It is the road to release, and game day is almost here.